Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating gentleman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. As you know, the Her Story platform does interview men. I do believe until we start having men in the rooms that we discuss women's issues, nothing much will change. So welcome, my brother. The stage is yours. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Ooh, that's so. I hope I'm not muted. No, my name's Chima, and thank you so much, Gertrude, for having me on your podcast. It's quite amazing how we kind of met very. The world brings people together in mysterious ways, and this is surely one of them. And so I'm grateful, and thanks for that. Is the first thing I need to say. My name, like I said, is Chima. And what I what my story is kind of based on my journey through arts, and for a long time, for as long as about 20 years now, I've been empowering young people with art. And I started an NGO back in 2005 purely for that purpose of empowering artists, that unrecognized and unknown voices. And then that transpired into promoting and supporting children through creative writing. And I'll give you some background for me personally. My story started when I was about 9 or 10 in writing, and I so happened to write a small short children's story book as an assignment, and it was for school back in the day. And it was then when we didn't have computers like now, we didn't have hard drives, we didn't store anything. It was written in pen in an exercise book, and it was submitted to my teacher as an assignment. And then, sad thing is, my teacher lost the assignment, and my mom literally went to murder this teacher. She was so angry, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" But it taught me the basic foundations of motherly love and pride, because that is where I understood. That's how my foundation of understanding in how my mom has my back. That's where it started from. Because yes, she didn't succeed in killing this teacher, but she left a message in me that said she has me and she always will. She supports me, and since then, my number one fan. And that was my introduction, my baptism into writing, realization that I could write. And she's always had that for me, that notion. And growing up, we were living beside a very famous, now famous author called Chimamanda Adichie. We lived opposite them. And my mom read all her books, yeah, all of them, and used her as an example to inspire me, because she says later on in life, why am I not writing? I can write as well as, probably better than Chimamanda. Why don't I do? So she inspired me to write my first novel, which I'm just about to publish, and dedicate to her. So that was kind of inspirational for me. And then on the art side, my dad was an inspiration to me, because my dad was one of those rare human beings that didn't tell you what he wanted you to do. He let you and your creativity find your path. And that's what he saw in me. Because when I was about 11 or 12, something like that, I painted a portrait of the president. I'm from Nigeria. I painted a portrait of the president of Nigeria then. And my dad loved it. He said, why don't we give it to the president? And I said, you don't just walk into the president's office as a child with a painting. He said, no, 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 we'll sort something out. He'll talk to the vice president and we'll make it happen. And he did. We were invited to Lagos. I went to present the painting at State House to the president. Luckily for me, he had to go to an engagement, so I presented it to the vice president. But that was my journey again to our starting point for the arts. I've always been talented in, colors and putting things together, and I always knew I wanted to do something for artists. Then I went off into architecture by uh, my own stubbornness, but kind of found my way back into the arts years later, on my dad's intuition that this is what I need to do, and started the NGO, which, has been promoting artists for 20 years. And the empowerment part came almost accidentally when we had schools involved in an exhibition project. And it was great to see kids getting inspired and writing about the art. And so we inculcated that into what we do. So now that's specifically what we try to do, is help kids with creative writing. Then that pushed me to my legacy journey. This is where I am now. My project that I'm um, putting out there to empower young people and children to give back and pay it forward. And I'm using a platform, we're creating a platform to make this happen. And that platform is called FundOwner. That's FundOner. So it's an acronym for fun and donate. So we're trying to make that process fun, so that you can donate, and have a good time at the same time. That's what FundOwner is about. And the FundOwner journey is purely based on empowerment. So one of the key things I always mention in this story is when in 2010 I empowered a young Nigerian boy in part of an exhibition process that was across the whole country of Nigeria. And he won the first prize of everything. And he was invited by Her Majesty the Queen to Buckingham Palace. And he presented two paintings that they put into the Royal Collection, which is the most prestigious art collection in the world. And he is most likely the youngest artist in them, just waiting for confirmation. That inspires me to say, you can empower anyone to do anything. You can make people fly. And I wanted to create this platform for giving back. But also, the second thing I wanted to do with the platform is make charities accountable, because we're raising money for charity. And I went to visit a charity in Malawi some years ago, and when I got there, I found there was nothing there. All the money had gone. $11 million had disappeared out of the funds. It was, squandered. Made me think we need to make charities accountable. So that's what FundOwner is about: the fund space for donating and making charities accountable. And to get there, we need to build that platform out. And I created another innovative art-based mosaic project to do that. It's called 50,000 Voices. And 50,000 Voices is a place where anyone can come on board, put their picture, get a link for a tiny donation of $1 or more, and then become part of our project that we'll use to empower young people and help them give back through FundOwner. Now, the FundOwner space will be built once we've filled up that banner. You can see that on 50,000voices.com. But the actual premise of the site is very simplistic. It's the young people reaching out, engaging influencers, and the influencer taking a challenge to offer their own fan base something unique, like a personal experience. And I use the example of David Beckham because we've reached out and made contact with him. Someone like David Beckham, working for UNICEF as an ambassador, wants to raise money for a specific project, comes to FundOwner through an ambassador, and offers the fans, come and meet me in my football club, and we'll have a football match and kick about and play, just have fun for a day. And his fans are given the opportunity to come and join him if they contribute $1 to UNICEF's project. And that's basically how it works. So we're empowering young people this way. We're getting young ambassadors to be kind, because anything they get from this process, any reward, they need to put back into kindness. They need to give it back. They need to pay it forward. And that's basically my simple story. in 10 minutes.
Wow, what an incredible life you have lived. What is inspirational about your story is you were surrounded by creativity. You had two amazing parents who allowed you to find your way and find your space.
Mm-hmm.
But for you to know Chimamanda is another added blessing. Seeing
Mm-hmm.
role models of African authors who had paved the way before you. So you're surrounded by this rich culture and complex challenges. How did that shape your worldview and your life purpose?
Well, I think that's the core foundation of everything I'm doing, Gertrude, because I couldn't have done it any other way. When I
Yeah,
think about the richness in culture, what we picked up in Nigeria, the lifestyle we had, might not have been rich in terms of money, but it was rich in terms of culture, expression, spirit, interaction, upbringing, discipline, all the things that I see lacking in the Western culture.
yeah,
We had them in abundance. And it's those things that shape you and form your life, put you in perspective, give
yeah.
you a level head. And I give you a graphic example. I remember once reporting a teacher to my dad that they'd done something. I can't remember what it was, but something not right. My dad was angry. He wanted to come and find out what I'd done. Came to the school, wants to sort this what's going on. And when the teacher narrated the story, what took place, they because I'd received a little beating. My dad
Okay.
gave me an additional beating because I was disrespecting the process, the teacher, and falsely, make kind of almost like a false story to benefit for me, so that my dad would support me. My dad, no way, that's not it. And he was such
Uh,
an honest, straightforward guy. I've never known a human being like my dad who was always
oh, wow.
following the path of truth, always. And even when it was to the detriment of his own, you know, or moral, for anything, like for me, when I was in school, I had to repeat a year because I did something wrong, and my dad
Okay.
wouldn't do anything immoral to correct it. Even though he had the power, he could have just done this and say, "Oh, look, correct that mistake." No, he said, "You're gonna have to learn this through that process." And those
That's
are
just
things that, yeah, those are things that I cherish now. At the time, I was crying. I'm missing it. I missed out a whole year of school when I was so depressed.
oh,
But now, these are the things that have formulated my character and gave me the tools that I need to deal with my life.
yeah.
So I'm very grateful.
So you've built these creative workshops, creative writing workshops, and art workshops for children. Why
Mhm.
do you believe creativity is a tool of liberation?
Well, when you work with creation and creativity in children, it's different from adults. I find that it's so exhilarating. I can't explain it any other way.
Mm,
And getting them involved in projects, specifically giving them roles of responsibility within projects, and seeing how they come together and you know kind of work things out in a creative way. Like
yes.
you're aware, I did mention we do a filmmaking project client workshop
Wow.
thing where we get young people through, usually they might be coming from a youth charity or specific youth
Hmm.
program, and we get them together and develop a story that they want to tell, not our story, their story. And we'll work on the 3 stages with them in terms of the pre-production, which is getting everything sorted together, the
Yes.
production and production stages, and we get them through a teamwork spirit. So they start off on a foundation of teamwork. And the lesson from the very first days, if you're not a team, you're not going to work. You have to be a team, respect everybody. Because some people like writing, they don't
Yes.
like acting. Some people like acting, they don't like production, they don't like post editing, they don't like sound. Everyone has a different role,
Yeah.
and they almost respect each other for the product to work. Because if one of them pulls out, everything collapses. So I instill those fundamental core principles in kids throughout these workshops that instill in them perspective that carries on in their life. And I'm very proud to say that, you know, some you get that clear vision of empowering them through the process that they never lose. That's the legacy I want to leave with children that it had an impact with that. That's me. I hope that answers the question, but that's me.
It's interesting because they do say that your passion, the things that you do intuitively, fuel your passion in life. And if you can find that at an earlier age, you will live a very fulfilled life. I remember as a kid, I was that little girl at the back of the class, talking, yakking, cracking jokes. I was punished for speaking most of my life, but my parents saw the gift that I had. They channeled me to do drama, debate, public speaking, and now I get paid to speak. So when you can capture that in little children earlier on, it's amazing the magical things that can unfold. Now we have somebody chiming in on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Fatima, for joining us on the podcast. She said, I fully support this. There is more joy in giving than receiving. Our culture has got so much in it that really chart the path that we take. And it is very, very true. We may have come from countries that on the world view look like they're poor, but we were rich in culture. We were rich in community. I used to get punished by my mother's friends if they saw me playing on the streets and, getting up to mischief. They had the right to discipline me. So we were brought up by an entire village, which was a real blessing. Now, this platform that you're building for the 5,000 Voices campaign is revolutionary.
50,000.
How did this idea first spark in your mind? What triggered this?
Well, 50,000. I just want to.
50,000.
My feeling is I want to engage people in being a part of the process. I want to give people a foundational stake in the process. That's what this for me. Yeah. So
yes.
50,000 ordinary, everyday people to be a part of the project, and that's what birthed the idea. So we build this mosaic, this digital mosaic online, engaging people, coming on board, owning a stake, and then having a voice. That's my dream, and putting value to it as well. Putting it on the blockchain so it will retain value.
Yes,
and anybody can be part of it. Now the idea is if you don't use your space when we've started the platform, then after a while we'll say, look, if you're not using it, we need to move your site for somebody else. Because we need people who contribute, who will feed value, who will tell us what opinion they want to happen, and will engage and be consulted. That's the whole point.
Yes.
So I want to be like I don't know if it will be the first, but a very clear portal where we use opinions of everyday people to formulate how we move things forward. So there's always a consensus of the majority there.
I love that. And now with donor fatigue, a lot of people are tired of giving to charities. But if they can give and have a voice in how those funds are administered and participate actively, like you're saying, you don't want people just to give, you want their input as well.
Yes.
I think it's really going to succeed.
Yes, not just that, but also remember when I mentioned about the charity in Malawi and the funds, people see these things and it makes them despondent. So when you look at like Charities Aid Foundation statistics and look through the report, one of the main things that puts people off is accountability.
Yes.
How do I know where my money is going? What did my dollar do? And if you don't know, you're more reluctant. But as soon as you're sure, because this process gives everyone the right to speak to the chief exec of each charity. That's what the idea is. If you're not happy, you don't know what's happened to your $10 or $5, raise it directly with the top. They need to tell you step by step with an account, an audit, and proof that this is where money was spent. Without that, we'll stop giving them any funds that we receive. That's the preference of the
That's beautiful. You're really creating transparency there. That's just amazing. So what was the moment that you realized that young people could lead global fundraising better than adults?
Well, I don't know that yet. It's still to the test, but I know that young people do things in a different way. I
Yeah.
know that young people have a completely different mindset. They are much more innocent than us, or they're not trying to deviously find ways to, circumnavigate things. Their
Yes.
focus is about if they're happy to help, they're happy to help, and it's tapping into that raw energy that I'm trying to do
Yeah.
with this. And I mentioned to you when we spoke before. Sometimes I look at TikTok and I don't understand how the young people are getting these millions of views. I need to
Yes.
tap into power because that's what will create the motion in this project
Yeah.
to push it forward. That's the energy that we need to get. And when, remember, each ambassador, each young person who comes on board will be given a space. You have like almost like a social media space, like Facebook, like
Yes.
anything. They have their own page. You can
Okay.
see what they're doing. You can see how much money they've raised because they get commissions, they get rewards from each campaign. You can
Right.
see what their interests are, what they like to do, and you can also ask them to help you spend money doing something giving forward as well. So, or paying back, or going to build some school somewhere again, or charitable
Mm.
project.
Yeah.
All these people need to network. And when you see the transparency, because videos don't lie, you can
Yeah.
see these young people doing these things. It
Yeah.
should inspire you to say, "Oh yes, I'll do that." I
Right.
use a guy, John Cena, the wrestler.
Yes.
Yeah, and he has a world record of giving through the Make a Wish Foundation.
Okay.
I understand. Yeah, if you Google him, I understand he's done a Make a Wish project for over 650 children.
Oh, wow. And that's one
That,
person using his
that's what
influence to make a difference.
that tells me. If we get even just, I mean, there's over a million influential people that wouldn't. You just need one to do it a couple of times, 3 times, and he's doing it because he wants to put a smile on a child's face.
Yeah.
And like us, remember, you're empowering a young person to change a life. So when you see all the interconnections happening and what you're doing, paying for, and all the videos are evidence in that activity, I
Yes.
feel, I might be wrong, Gertrude, but I do feel that if you did that, sat in the background, watched your magic unfold, you'd be encouraged to do it again because you see
Yeah.
the reality in the impact that's happening from people going out there and doing good deeds. It might just be a bungee jump through a sponsor to raise another pot of money for another charity, but it's
Yeah.
filmed on TikTok, and young people do it in a way that we can't replicate, and
That
they'll watch
is
it, and
true.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
plan.
I do love working with kids on projects like this because one of the things I found is that little children don't see any limitations in what is possible.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think what you're doing is teaching children to be part of the solution
Mm-hmm.
for the problems we see in the world, right? They're
Mm.
not just being bystanders and waiting until they're older to actively take part in bringing about change.
Yeah.
I work with a small group in the South Island in New Zealand. I was speaking at a primary school and I had shown pictures of my school in Zimbabwe. One
Mm-hmm.
little 8-year-old girl came up to me in tears. She couldn't believe the state of the school that I was trying to rebuild in Zim.
Yeah.
Her name was Sophie, and she said to me, Gertrude, I feel I need to help you.
Mm.
So I pulled out my business card and I said, Sophie, I really think you can. Let me give you my card. When you get home, give it to your mom and let's start talking and brainstorming ideas. Cut a long story short, 3 weeks later, this little girl's mother calls me and said, Gertrude, I don't know what you did to my daughter, but she has decided to give up her birthday presents to help you build a house for the orphaned children that you support.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Hey.
started a campaign. This is one family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mother went to the media, started talking about Sophie's story. The story spread. So she lived in Christchurch in the South Island.
Mm-hmm.
For her birthday, there was a man who had a limousine company who donated a limo to take her from
Wow.
her house to the cafe where she was having her birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
A woman who had a cafe called Sophie's Cafe donated the venue. The whole
Wow.
community got inspired by this little girl.
Yeah.
And in the end, we were able to build 8 houses
See,
And this is one 8-year-old kid, right?
there you
Who
go.
didn't see any limitation. She knew she could help. She wanted to make a difference. And I gave her the opportunity to do it. So
Hmm.
it's inspiring to see what you're doing with these kids because you're creating leadership skills. You're creating, again, creativity and fundraising. And it will be a life skill that they can carry going forwards. I absolutely love it.
So this is how exactly what I'm saying to you. Those little connections that you don't probably don't even give a second thought, they
No.
can explode into something you can't describe. Because we're not the
Yes.
ones making those decisions. They're far above us. And I believe when you're doing the right thing and you're empowering people, you'll never all sorts of things will happen that you can't explain.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. Now, many influencers do want to give back, but don't know how.
Yes.
What makes your platform the bridge that they've been waiting for?
Well, I think I'll give you some instance. A lot of people are doing it anyway. They have charities they help and support. They're doing a lot of
Yes.
great stuff in their own ways. What I'm creating is a place where we'll bring a lot of attention to lots of people at the same time and give them a competitive element that drives them to want to do even better. Because if you
Right,
recall, the site works in a kind of the front page of the site is what to me I want to be the game changer. You have
right,
10 top influencers on the top page. Like a GoFundMe page, whatever you've raised will be clocking up in real time on a counter on your page. And so you have a
right,
page where you have the one who's raised the most funds will be at the top with all the information, the charity, the story, what they're offering their fans, how they got about it, the person, the ambassador that connected them, and all that. And they'll have a
hmm,
clickable links that you can watch their video or their short presentation, stuff. And each one will have a little profile page like that, like any GoFundMe. And the
yes,
first at the top will be the one that's earned the most. Below them, there'll be two, who's the next. And then below them, three, up until the last tier where you've got four. And in total, 10 people on that first page will be the ones who you have raised the most amount in their
the
time.
most active,
And the
yes,
psychological thing here, and I'll give you an analogy. The psychological thing you would expect is if you're on that first page, you don't want to be at the bottom of the first page. You want to
no,
move.
you want to be at the
You want to
top.
be okay. So if you see you're faltering and you're not getting, your numbers are slowing, you'll reach out.
Yes,
You'll probably send another tweet or another Instagram post or another whatever it is. You say, "Hey guys, man, I need to move back up. What's good? Yeah, come on, give me a help. Push me up there." And that's the idea. But it's all
yeah,
tied. Remember, I'll give you some two things. There's a story I often tell about 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather. They've had an ongoing online feud for years. I don't know if you've heard of it, where they
yes,
diss each other. You know,
yes,
then accuses Floyd Mayweather of not being able to read, and they're just insulting the hell out of themselves. And I'm
yeah,
saying to them, people like that, your insults, fine, they're creating a lot of traffic. Why not bring that traffic to some good cause? Bring your insults to FundOwner and fight yourselves here and see who earns more. Then you can, people will watch this unfold. Do that because that's what I want the platform to do. Years ago,
yeah,
when I was, let me tell you what inspired me more. When I was developing the idea, I went to all the major shows like the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammy,
okay,
all of them. I talked to all the foundation side aspects people. When they
right,
promote their foundations or charitable causes or have a good cause theme for the day or night. And I said to them, I've got this idea, and I think it will help you raise millions of dollars instantly if we can make it happen. And I gave them the template for what it is. And
right,
you won't believe that, well, most people, they don't really respond, but the one who responded most positively were the
mm,
Oscars. So
all right,
the
okay,
foundation, yeah, because they were building at the time a museum of moving image or something. And so they
right,
thought that's a brilliant idea, because what will happen at the Oscars, if you know how, you watch the Oscars, all these
yes,
celebrities come to one place. They don't do anything for 4 hours except stand up, clap, and do one or two, maybe
exactly,
slaps if you're Will Smith. They don't really do it. You know what I mean? So you're sitting
Yeah.
there, bunch of people of power, and all they need to do when they walk in the door is register for FundOwner and have a live stream in the Oscars during the intermission. So
Wow.
they can be raising money on the back in the side. And in the break
Yeah.
when you go to commercials, you show and project that 10-person screen and see
Yes.
who's leading. And all the people in there who registered say, hey, I need to get more. So they do it again. So for those 3-4 hours, you may raise a few $1 million for the good
Wow.
cause involved. And they loved it because
That's
it's
incredible.
little amounts, affordable little amounts for a reward at a time, and much more attractive. Because when I was thinking of these concepts, I was thinking of auctions and bidding and stuff. I said, no, it's probably much better to get donations of small amounts collectively from large numbers, probably
Yes.
getting auctions from a few people that may not amount to much. And
Micro raise it.
so that was an inspiration to me. That's what. So when we've
Mhm.
got this all sorted and it's working, the standalone app is what I'll be promoting in some of these events to raise their profile and money for their
Yeah.
good causes or charities they want to support. That's the plan.
Absolutely fascinating. So, what role does storytelling play in empowering communities and connecting donors with the hearts behind these projects?
Oh, everything is a story and how you
Yeah.
tell it. I might not even be that. I'm realizing now there's certain things or ways you tell something that will
Yeah.
resonate or get someone's attention. And I'm learning. I don't know all the answers. I'm learning. I need to learn from you, Gertrude, how you tell something to someone that makes it attractive. What made you attracted to the idea or respond? What was it? I need to hone in on those things because those are the real story things. And I believe it's from a genuine position in your heart. If you're transparent enough to be seen as genuine and that's what you stand for, people can
Yeah.
see people can see that. People can tap into those energies and use them. But you need to break that mold first. So I've been trying to. I used to, like I said to you, talk about my idea all the time, and I never got time. I never listened to anybody, and that was bad. I had to restructure my whole mindset to say, you know what?
Yes.
No, I need to, and that's helped me now because I listened to your story, I watched your story unfold. The other day, I listened to someone else, and it was an amazing story. And I even dedicated, I didn't tell you, but I dedicated both of you in our newsletter last week. So I can send you the link
All
and you
right.
can.
Oh, thank you. Do send me the link. That's awesome.
It was about the inspiration of two of you that made me recognize these core things, especially around stories that can bring people, make them become a
And
part of
how
it.
we can all learn from each other as well through the sharing of our stories.
Yes, I think
Now,
so.
you are building a global legacy platform. What
Mhm.
impact do you want to have, say, in the next 50 years from now?
Oh, my greatest hope for this project is
Hmm.
that because of the young people and the connectivity, the evidence-based, infrastructure that we're building,
Yes.
that will be the lasting legacy because people like stories. People like seeing when you're doing good, regardless of
Yeah.
how you mentioned the 8-year-old girl and what she did, doing good
Yeah.
to change people's lives and building houses. it would have been it could have just gone to nothing if she never took an
Sure.
interest or did something. But these are things that make people wake up and perk up to the reality of what can happen, what can change when people decide to do things and tell their story. So my legacy that I want to leave is young people paying it forward, giving back in an open platform where they know they can get help and support and do fun things to change lives. That's my legacy. Once
Yeah.
that's happening and replicating, it will kind of be a self-replicating process. And I'm
Right.
predicting at that stage it won't need advertising. But to get there,
It'll
we do
just
need,
tell itself.
because the stories will tell you. The
Yeah.
TikToks will tell you, the Instagram will tell you, the new platforms coming out will tell you. These are things that you can see. Did you ever watch this story of this the guy that does the water aid program in Africa? He has a video.
No.
Yeah, it's a very. it's one of those videos you watch and it's a bit long, but you think you're engaged. Because from the very first second, there are hooks that pull you into the video and you're thinking, whoa,
Yeah.
doing amazing things.
Oh, I
That's,
love it.
yeah, I'd love to want to do that with people. So the 8-year-old girl story you're talking about, they
Yeah.
tell things like that so people come on
Mhm.
board, get involved, getting interested, engaged. They're talking about it. That's what I want to leave behind.
I love it. So let's finish off with this last question. What
Yeah.
is the one message that you want every young person who's listening to this podcast to hear today?
Well, I think the fundamental thing I want people to hear is you can change because our project is all evolving around the dollar, which is I took the dollar as a symbol of affordability, and I looked everywhere across the world. You'll probably find that a high proportion of people can afford to overlook a dollar or have it as a tip or
Yes.
something manageable. When you get to
Yeah.
10, 20, it becomes kind of a decision, a strain on the mind to make a
Yes.
decision. But at a dollar, it's usually, oh, that's fine. That's okay. So I needed
Yeah.
to focus and I wanted to make a project for young people that they don't think about the impact of affordability. It's there. You can just be
Yes.
part of it. And a dollar can change lives. A dollar
Mhm.
can do incredible things. Small amounts of dollars together in a team
Add up.
can change communities. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what I want young people to take away. It can make your trajectory of life change. It can give you a platform to, be yourself, to have fun doing things you want to do. You can tap into other people's energies and
Yeah.
use it to do and develop your own self. So that is what I want young people to feel that they can, use this space to tell their stories and impact, change lives, and pay things forward. That's basically what this is all about.
Absolutely awesome. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming online and sharing this incredible story. I really want to follow your journey and hopefully, interview you again in 6 months, 18 months time, see how
Great.
the project is actually unfolding. I have your website at the bottom of the screen. So please, everybody, the Her Story Circle, as you know, is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of people from all over the world. We play with go givers and not go getters. So please share this link, share this podcast with your family, with your friends. If you have young children in your lives, teenagers, primary school going age, get them involved in something that is making a difference. And like you said, these kids know how to use the technology to make things go viral. Let's turn it into a game and make it fun and competitive and see the magic that can unfold from here. So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Jima, thanks again for the interview.
You're welcome. Is there enough time to say one last thing?
Yes, sure.
Because what I what I didn't mention is that we're running this all through the blockchain. So the 50,000 voices portal, which is key, is where you can go and put your image and your link and your voice. And it's linked to the blockchain. So when we build it out, you have an investment, even if it's just $8. And I remind people when Bitcoin started, it was less than $1 for a Bitcoin. And now it's 120, $130,000. You never know
Great.
what's going to happen when you put, things like this out there. So yeah, invest $1.
Fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody. Have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.
I wasn't sure
Wonderful.